Hello, this is Margaret Kimberley, and thank you for joining me in the first of a series of talks about my book, Prejudential. Prejudential, Black America and the Presidents. The subtitle is in a lighter type, so you can't read it, but trust me, that's what it says, Prejudential, Black America and the Presidents, which was published by Steerforth Press in 2020. In Prejudential, I present 45 essays for each president from Washington to Trump, analyzing the history of Black people attempting to navigate a political system which is inherently hostile. How and why is it inherently hostile? Well, 4 of the first 5 presidents were Virginia slaveholders, and I'll start at the beginning with a little about George Washington. Children learn in school that George Washington's false teeth were made of wood. That's not true. Some of his dentures were made of ivory and metal, but some of them came from the human beings he owned. Washington became a slaveholder at the age of 11 upon his father's death. When Washington's dentures became ill-fitting and painful, he chose to get teeth from the people he owned. And he told a friend, quote, "I confess I have been staggered in my belief in the efficacy of transplantation," unquote. Well, efficacious for the person getting the teeth, certainly not for the people who had teeth literally yanked out of their mouths. The cruelty is difficult to fathom. Dental work is brutal now with modern medicine and anesthesia. I can't imagine having teeth extracted at that time in history, and also that someone else could get them. This book is the result of a column that I wrote in Black Agenda Report. I'm now executive editor. In 2014, I wrote a column after watching a documentary about the Roosevelt family, and I was struck by the fact that Theodore Roosevelt's very open bigotry, his white supremacy, was given short shrift, and I wrote a column about that, and then I was encouraged to write about all of the presidents, and after 5 years of work, this book is the result. Obviously, it appeals to anyone who's interested in American history, in Black studies and presidential history. The information I researched is readily available in libraries such as the New York Public Library here in New York City where I live, the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, the Library of Congress in Washington. I spent many hours in those places. And fortunately for me, I was not the first person to write on the subject. And there are classics such as Lerone Bennett's Forced into Glory, Abraham Lincoln's White Dream. Lincoln was not anti-slavery, you know. Well, you will know after you read the book. George Sinkler's The Racial Attitudes of American Presidents, Melvin Steinfeld's Our Racist Presidents, Kenneth O'Reilly, Nixon's Piano, and Clarence Lusane's The Black History of the White House are among those books. And it's very important to know this history because so much of what we're taught is not true. Things are omitted. Most authors admire their subjects, and so they don't want to write about anything that makes the people they admire look bad. So they don't tell you about Washington's teeth, or there's a biography I came across of Zachary Taylor, which said that the people he held in slavery were well treated without anything to back that up, because, of course, no enslaved person can be well treated, or that Franklin Roosevelt was quite racist and was not the good for Black people president that we have been told. It's easy to talk about Donald Trump's racism, but Jimmy Carter's or Bill Clinton's are not given enough attention. And but if you read this book, you will know more about it. I have to thank the late Glenn Ford, my mentor, without whose help and encouragement, I would not have become a published author. Cornell West was kind enough to give me a blurb. Everyone wants a blurb from Cornell West, and he was kind enough and generous enough to provide that for this book. So, Prejudential, Black America and the Presidents. There's a link below the video which shows you where you can buy the book directly from the publisher, Steerforth Press, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, independent booksellers. And it's also on Audible, recorded by me, which was quite an experience, a fun experience. So I thank you for joining me, and I will have more readings for each chapter of Prejudential in the future, and I look forward to interacting with you all. Please comment, please like the video. It will be, I'm sure, a fun exchange as we go through this book. So I thank you and look forward to seeing you in the future.